These lovely ladies of the paranormal. Let's get it going. Our headliners for this Friday evening from the sci-fi hit TV shows Ghost Hunters and Ghost Hunters International. Please give a very warm welcome to Miss Kris and Bruni.
Hi everybody. I brought my pop because Berber can call it pop.
Soder is more like a
Soder.
We take R's off some words and add them to others.
Yeah, they talk funny in New England.
You're picking it up.
Huh?
You're starting to talk like us.
I am not. Okay. Sorry, we could sit up here and bicker all day, but you guys probably don't want to hear. Cool, this is exciting, right?
So I know Amy and I really enjoy doing Q&As because it's more interactive, and a lot of times you guys will have a lot of the same questions, so it's kind of fun for us to be able to answer everybody at once, and it's just, I enjoy it. We get silly, so I'm warning you now. You might get a little giggly.
I have a question for you guys though. Is this the Kewadin Casino or the Kuwaitin Casino? Kuwaitin. Alright. I feel like I should take a vote because I've heard so many. Oh, it's Kuwaitin. Okay. Alright, got it. I'll remember that. But we're really stoked to be here. We heard a lot about this event the last couple of years, and Steve and Dave came back last year and were like, oh, you gotta go to this thing, and the year before it was Zach and
Now we get to brag.
Now we get to tell them that we were here and all the fun we had. So, how many of you have been here before? Ooh. How many have been here every year in the 3 years? How many will come back next year? Oh! Nice.
So this is a Q&A where we ask you guys questions.
I like asking questions. I have another one. How many of you guys are on a paranormal team? Oh, a lot of you. You guys are all on the same team.
Yeah. We got more.
How many of you guys want to be on a paranormal team? Right, so you saw those hands before. You guys hang out, make friends. All right, cool. I guess I gotta say some stuff now. So this is where we open up the floor to you guys. Like if you have any questions for us. There's roamers with microphones. Oh, there's one.
Hi, Kris, this is for you. Is there a difference between investigating in the States and investigating overseas?
There really is, because when you're dealing with investigating in the States, we kind of have this, we have a certain level of skepticism. Once you start going outside of the U.S., you start dealing with different belief systems, and I find the hardest part is going to a country where they may be a little bit more quick to believe than we would here, and you're trying to kind of delicately tell them that it's not a god or it's not a ghost. It's something very rational. I found on the team, for me, it's really hard being as skeptic as I am to be like, you know, if this isn't considered a ghost or paranormal in another location, it's not going to be here just because the belief system is different. We have to stick with the same rules, the same guidelines, go off the evidence, go off of our experiences, and that should be it. So that was probably the biggest kind of drama on our team as far as trying to figure out how to deal with the client in the end.
Oh, hi. Hi. I'd like to know, what got you started in becoming paranormal?
Becoming paranormal?
Basically,
I'm not there yet, one day.
What got you interested in it?
I started very young. I lived in a haunted house when I was a little girl, and my family, they were all like kind of weird and new agey and like really into it, and they were like, don't be scared, embrace this, and so I went to the library and started reading up on the history of spiritualism and ghost hunting, and this was like way back in the 80s. And so it was, you know, the paranormal TV back then was like In Search Of, and you know, I loved that stuff. And as I got older, my dad and I would kind of investigate very haphazardly and not well at all, but it was fun. And I realized he was really just using it to teach me history. But so that's a trick for you parents, like tell your kid that you're going ghost hunting in historical locations, but really you're teaching them at the same time. But so anyways, later on I joined a team, and then eventually I met Jane Grant and met this girl, and it's really her fault because
Jane Grant had no idea what they're in for when they paired us up.
Yeah, and so it was just kind of this progression over the years. I worked on a podcast years ago with Tim Ellis here, and then that's how Jane Grant met me. They wanted me to help them with their radio show, and so it's just been really a crazy 7 years, 6 years since I met all these guys, and I've never been home since. So.
I grew up in a house that was open to the paranormal. My mom grew up in a house that was supposedly active. I say supposedly, my grandparents still live there. I've never had anything happen to me yet, and that's how I am with my own mother's evidence. I'm just like, I have to see it, I have to feel it, to believe it. But it was one of those things in our house. It was always kind of something we talked about. And for me, I was more of a history person. My dad was very big into history, and he got me into it. And then once I was in the 4th grade, I had this teacher that got me into genealogy. And I was hooked. I'd sit with my grandparents every weekend, and I'd ask them stories about the family, and it just became this obsession for me. And years later, I met Jane Grant through a mutual friend, and when I found out what they were doing, because they hadn't had the show yet, this was years before the show, I was like, who is crazy enough to go looking for this stuff? I mean, really, what kind of people are? I have to meet them. And they were crazy, like I was expecting. Well, they kind of are, but they're okay. We hit it off, and I'd say I met them maybe 4 years before the show. The 3 of us became really close. They were like brothers. And I remember when they got the show, they were all excited about it. They're like, oh, we're going to go hunting, watch sci-fi. And the next thing I know, 3.5 years later, Donna's leaving, Brian's leaving, and they felt that my research and history background would help them with researching locations and trying to figure out if there's any truth behind who either lived there or died there or whatever the story was. So I was brought in as a research person, and 5 years later, went international, and I've seen more than I ever thought I would, really, especially with the historic locations. I love it for that.
Hi.
Oh, there you are.
I've had an experience in my house where my grandpa died in May. Like an hour and a half, 2 hours afterwards, my daughter was reacting to something that we couldn't see. And she was actually saying, Tata, which was my word for my grandpa. I'm wondering, asking both of you, do you believe that it takes years for paranormal happenings? Or can it be right after somebody dies?
No. What you're describing is called, sometimes it's called like a deathbed visitation, or, there's many reports of someone passing away and kind of making the rounds. And, I had it happen when my great-grandmother died. Many of us all had a dream the night she died. And we didn't even discuss it or know it, until like a couple years later. But it's very common, they kind of come around and visit and say goodbye in their own way, and then nothing happens after that. They move on.
Like I've had stuff happen after.
Yeah. Well, then maybe they haven't moved on. And that's fine too. And I think you should take comfort in it that it's a relative until you actually know who it is. And there's no reason why you can't just try to talk to him like you would if he was alive. It's still your grandpa, it's still, the same guy. So that's my recommendation.
I mean, I had it happen when I was real young, but I actually don't remember it. My great-grandmother died when I was 4. And I guess my aunt and uncle had come over, and my mom said it was a Tuesday night, and they had come over to let my parents know that my great-grandmother had passed away. And I guess right before they were going to tell my parents about what happened, I came down from bed and I said,